What's up, guys? How are you doing today? It's G.money reviews, back with another video. Today we're going to be ranking all the countries and territories that I've been to. So without further ado, let's get started. So I've already moved all of them to the top for you, so you don't have to scroll down. I've been to 13 countries and 3 territories of said countries. So to some of you, that may be veteran status, and to some of you, I may be a rookie and have not gone anywhere. Well, without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm gonna go from least to best. So I don't have them in order like this, but we're gonna start. So in very last place, I'm gonna put the Vatican City. I don't think it's bad at all, and I'm gonna give it a C. But it is the smallest country in the world. It is actually a city-state. So if you don't know, that means that the entire country comprises of one city. It was cool. I went when I was 14 or 15 on a family trip with my family. We went to Italy, bounced all around Italy, went to the Vatican. It's cool. There's just not much to do there. We toured the cathedral, got a bite to eat, but it's like, it doesn't even take a day. Honestly, we went super early in the morning, and it was cool. There's just not much to do and not much to say. So moving on. So that'll be number 16 is the Vatican. Number 15. All right, this is already we're gonna start off almost controversial here. I'm gonna put the Netherlands at 15, and I'm gonna give it a C. And the only reason it's this low is because I only went for 3 days. So I studied abroad last summer, and I studied in Spain, and we got to travel, all over Europe for about 8 weeks. I went to a bunch of countries. It's where I got almost this entire list from. And my friends and I went to the Netherlands for 3 days, and on one of those days it poured raining, so we really didn't get to do much. We just kind of like hid inside shops and restaurants all day. And it was 3 guys and 2 girls, and the girls just wanted to shop. And I wanted to do the thing where you go and see the windmills, you try the cheese, you make clogs, like you see the countryside. But we didn't get to do that. We did go on canoes, or on the canoe boat thingies, which was really cool. And we had a lot of great food. And we got some nice merch and stuff. We also tried the Netherlands weed, which was low-key a letdown. It just didn't hit like that much, and I'm not even a smoker like that. But I tried it because went in Netherlands. But it was fun. It was a fun time. We just didn't get to do that much as I wanted, and we kind of picked a bad weekend to go because it was just pouring, and real muggy outside. So all of our pictures came out damp. And we tried the Heineken experience, which was super cool. Actually, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed everything I did. I just didn't get to do as much as I'd hoped, which is why I'm putting it this low. Moving on to number 14. Now, this is where the list starts to get hard, because pretty much everywhere I've been, I've really, really enjoyed, and I don't have much to complain about or say bad about at all. And this is going to come as a shocker, also controversial. Number 14, I'm going to put the Bahamas, and I'm going to put it at B. And listen, the last time I went to the Bahamas, I was a child. I was we stayed at a Disney resort. I feel like that should give you all the information you need. We stayed at Atlantis, my family and I, at Disney-themed rooms. But it was really cool. We got to swim with sharks and these little fish and these ponds and things, water park kind of stuff. It was super cool. But I was a kid. My family went last year while I was abroad, and they got to do a bunch of cool stuff. Went swimming with stingrays and pigs and iguanas and nurse sharks and a bunch of cool stuff that I would have loved to do. But obviously I was in Spain, which obviously a great experience as well. So I didn't get to experience the Bahamas like they have. They would probably put it in S tier. But for me, I haven't been since I was a kid. So for now it's B, but again, would love to go back. Also, would love to go back to the Netherlands and truly experience it and experience, the countryside and the windmills and all that stuff. Moving on to number 13. 13 is actually gonna be France. So I loved France. I went with my best friend Stan, and we stayed for 3 days. We took pictures of the Eiffel Tower. Went on the boat cruise on the river there. I think it's called River like Rain or something like that. Great food. We ate at Michelin star restaurants. Great pictures, great food, fun activities. Also, the people there do not hate Americans. They love Americans. The people there are not rude at all. They're just blunt. And I think that's just how it translates from their language, French, to English, is they sound a bit blunt. But they're not rude. They're not disrespectful. I just think Americans are a little bit more jolly, friendly, and a little bit less blunt. Because, Americans, we get their feelings hurt and stuff. But that's why I put France in B. I would love to go back to France in general. We stayed, obviously, in Paris just for those 3 days before we went to Spain, before our abroad trip experience. And I would love to go back to France, experience more of the country, see other parts of it, maybe go towards the hills. And yeah, so moving on to number 12. So, number 12, I'm actually going to put Malta. And I could interchange Malta and France, but the reason I'm going to put Malta a bit higher is that in France, I'm not going to lie, there's so many people there trying to sell you stuff, and like it's just kind of sketchy. It just makes you feel a little unsafe in certain parts of Paris. But Malta was great. It was beautiful, absolutely stunning, gorgeous island. I loved the food there. The drinks in Malta were great. Oh my goodness, I had these pineapple rum drinks. Like they cut the top off a pineapple, took the pineapple out and filled it with rum and like slushy. The food was great. We went to Gozo Island, I believe it's called. Went to these food stalls. We had like kebabs and oh my gosh, it was just delicious. It was so good. Again, the city was beautiful. The food was great. The hotel was really nice and had a washing machine, which was like crazy because in Europe we could not wash our clothes anywhere. Like we like had to wash them and air dry them. So it was really nice. Well, I guess there were washing machines everywhere. But you had to air dry. But Malta was really nice because it cleaned everything really well. Just great country. We went on a boat cruise, took us to Gozo, I believe, Island and all the little places around it. Beautiful pictures, beautiful water. We stopped in the middle of this blue lagoon type area and just jumped off the boat into the water. It was super fun, super cool. And moving on to number 16, 15, 14, 15, 12. Malta was 12. Number 11. Number 11, I'm going to have to say, might be controversial as well, but I'm going to throw in Croatia. And I also think it's about a B. Now, Croatia, a lot of people are going to tell you, is like the greatest place ever. Hvar Island, super fun party island. Split, super fun party island. Dubrovnik, just beautiful, beautiful place. And all of these things are true. However, I do personally feel Croatia is a tad overrated. We spent 3 days there. We did a day and a half in Split and a day and a half in Dubrovnik. Obviously, it's not a lot of time. So most of these places I've been to, I only went for about 3-4 days. And I will explain the ones where I went to for longer periods of time. So, but pretty much everything in Europe is going to have been 3 or 4 days. And Croatia was super fun, super, super fun. And I loved traveling the island. We did a full island hopping tour one day. We went to Hvar. I believe this was from Split. We went to Hvar, went to all these other little islands, tried a bunch of different foods, had a bunch of drinks. The food there was just exquisite. Oh my goodness, avocado toast there was just like, it was heavenly. God tier avocado toast. I really liked the country. I did. I truly loved it. The people there are so, so, so nice too. Like, oh my gosh, are the people there some of the friendliest, most like accepting, welcoming people ever. And the food there was amazing. The food in Dubrovnik, just walking around Dubrovnik and trying all the foods, and walking around the wall was beautiful. Great experience. Absolutely recommend Croatia. But I do think it's a bit overrated because a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, Croatia's going to change your life. And again, I loved it. I'm very happy and appreciative I got to go. And I would go again, 100%, given the opportunity. But I do have 10 other countries that I would rank above it that I've been to. And moving into the top 10, to start us off in our top 10, well, countries and territories. To start us off in our top 10, we're going to do none other than Aruba itself. And Aruba is also going to be in the B tier. Aruba was great. I went with my family and some of our family friends a couple years ago, actually. I think I was 19 or 20 at the time. Alright guys, sorry I had to pause for a second. I was getting a bunch of calls. Alright, to resume, number 10, Aruba. Absolutely beautiful island. They speak Dutch, English, Spanish, and kind of their own island language. Super beautiful island, beautiful homes. The Airbnb you stayed in was just like insane. It was great. Had a huge pool. Everyone had their own room for like 8, 9, or 10 people. I think there was like 9 or 10 of us. We had our own rooms. It was super fun. The food there was great. Absolutely exquisite, delicious food. And yeah, I mean, I like, it was great. We went on this dune buggy tour that took us all around the island. We went to some of these hot springs, like kind of like, I don't know if it was like a volcano necessarily, but there was whirlpools, but safe enough for people to be around. People weren't drowning and getting sucked into whirlpools and stuff, but super nice, like hot spring type whirlpool-y area. We got to go into the mountains and deserty area of Aruba, and there's like wild donkeys and stuff we took pictures with. We went up this spiral staircase lighthouse. Super, super cool country, or territory of the Netherlands, I believe. Oh my gosh, it was just beautiful. I loved Aruba. And I'm thinking more about it now. I kind of want to move it up to A, but the next place spot, like, I don't want to put in A, but I also think was a little bit better than Aruba. Which is like very conflicting, but Aruba was really fun, a great time. And number 9, which I think is about on par, and with a revisit to each and careful consideration, I would maybe move under Aruba, is going to be the UK. And let me tell you guys, London is the only part I've been to, and again, only for 3 days because it was during my study abroad session. But bro, London was like just a whirlwind of emotions, bro. It started off so mid, I'm not gonna lie. Well, actually, it started off really cool because I had, Great British Pounds, and I was like, hey, I was like singing the GBP song by Central C, and I was like, yo, I got GBP to USD. But anyways, and then it got kind of like meh. I was like, okay, here's like, it's a little overrated, the train's really cramped, like, we're rushing to get everywhere. But dude, let me tell you, the food in London was insane. The best strawberries I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, there's a fast food chain there. I think it's called like Nando's or something. I had it, bro. Exquisite chicken. We went to Chinatown in London. That shit was insane. So I went with Stan, and one of our friends that's a girl, her name's Ale. She came, and we went out to like O'Neill's in London. Like, it was just so fun. It was so fun there. There's so much to do in London. It's you feel safe, which is funny because we actually watched somebody get their phone stolen out of their hands. There was like an Asian tourist, and a guy came up and stole his phone, and the tourist started chasing them. They're like yelling and stuff, and we were just like, but like, I'm telling you, bro, it was nice. And at the time, I thought I enjoyed France more, but looking back at it, I definitely have fonder memories of London. And it was just so fun. It was so fun. And I would love to go back. I wanted to do a day trip to Scotland or Wales. We just didn't have time to do it. But I would love to go back and see all of the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales. And I would love to revisit London, see other parts, maybe an hour or two out. And I would also love to go to Ireland, maybe one day. And that was number 9. All right, guys, after a little bit of a dinner break with the fam, we're back. So, number 8. Number 8, which is going to start us in the A tier, is going to be the Cayman Islands. If you've never been to the Cayman Islands, they're owned by the UK. They are in the Bahamas, the Caribbean region. Or they're not in the Bahamas. They're in the Caribbean region, close to the Bahamas. I believe they're under Cuba, kind of towards South America. I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. If you know anything about me, you know I love animals. I love wildlife. I love biology. And dude, we went when I was a kid, and when I was at the peak of like my love for animals, and we just did so much. There's wild chickens, iguanas everywhere. We swam with stingrays like off these little islands. There was like wild pigs in the water. It was like pretty close to the Bahamas, what my parents and sister did there. And my favorite thing, which is like a core memory of mine, is we went to this sea turtle nursery. We got to swim with baby sea turtles. We got to watch how they were fed and raised. We got to feed them ourselves. We got to hold them. And that's just like, for me, is one of my core memories that I just absolutely love. And I will always remember that place, and I would love to go back. And it is probably the first like major trip my family went on that just stuck with me for life, and I absolutely love and recommend the Cayman Islands, especially if you like, you know, marine biology and stuff like that, and animals, and it is extremely safe. So we move on. Number 7. Now here's where it gets really hard, because you can already hear my love for the Cayman Islands, and everything from here on was just like, these are just trips that actually changed my life. Absolutely unbelievable trips. But number 7, I'm going to have to go Greece. Now, some of you are going to be like, whoa, how's Greece this low? Greece is kind of similar to Croatia. I think and believe that it is a bit overrated, especially Santorini. We spent 2 days in Santorini, I believe 3 days, 2 or 3 days in Mykonos. So a little bit longer in Mykonos than we did in Santorini. And it was one of the longer trips, but it was because it was after my abroad portion studying was over. So we stayed in Europe for a couple more weeks, and that's when we went to Greece, Malta, and Croatia. So Greece, it was beautiful, absolutely stunning. The water's beautiful. However, the water is more beautiful in Croatia and Malta. Greece had really nice people. It had great food. The best gyro I've ever had, which gyros are huge, like kind of everywhere in Europe. But gyros are massive, massive Mediterranean food from Greece. Oh my gosh, the best gyro I ever had. It was in a tortilla wrap. It had chicken, melted cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, onions, tzatziki sauce, and French fries. And oh my gosh, just that shit was bust, bro. That shit was absolutely amazing. But Greece is beautiful. I have some of my favorite pictures ever from there. Pictures, you know, of myself. Pictures of the scenes, the scenic surrounding area. I absolutely loved Greece. I would love to go back to Greece. But I do think it's a bit overrated. Santorini was beautiful. We had absolutely amazing food. We went on a catamaran tour, which is super nice. The people are super friendly. We went on a wine tour, tasted a bunch of great wines. Some of the best wines I've ever had in my life, honestly. And we got to see the grapes that they were growing. But I do think staying there and doing stuff there's a bit overrated. Mykonos was way more fun. Um, I honestly think going out in Mykonos was more fun than going out in Ibiza, which is crazy because, everyone says Ibiza is like the best place ever, which it was really, really fun. But Mykonos, I think going out was more fun. They have a great club there. I don't remember what it's called. I know it starts with a C. I'll put the name in here. Um, Absolutely amazing fun club. We did a dune buggy tour. We rented a dune buggy for 2 days. So we just drove it around town on the island. Like, you can just drive dune buggies around. You don't need an international license. I just used my US license. Um, the beaches are beautiful. It was just an amazing experience. Great food. I also got like a Thai massage on the beach on like our beach bench things. Oh my gosh, dude, it was just heavenly. Like, Mykonos was great, but I do think Santorini is a bit overrated, and I think Greece overall is a bit overrated. Mykonos was really nice. Again, everywhere we ate was like on the water, beautiful places. We traveled downtown, kind of from where our hotel was downtown into the city, um, and we also went bar hopping there, it was fun, but it's definitely like a very loud environment, which can be a little overstimulating, especially for me because I don't personally love going out like that. But it was a really fun experience. And moving on to number 6. Number 6 is gonna be the country that I spent 6 weeks in last summer, which was Spain. And this was just an absolutely just surreal experience. And it's gonna be at the top of A for now. And it was just great. I got to jump into Hispanic culture, which I only speak English. I'm also not Hispanic, which I may or may not look. But it was great. I got to live in Valencia for 6 weeks. We did a weekend trip to Barcelona and a weekend trip to Madrid. Barcelona was, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little trashy, kind of dirty. Barcelona was kind of dirty. I'm not gonna lie, I did not love Barcelona. Madrid was really nice. It's about what you expect from capital city. And it was just great to get thrown into that culture, the immersion. The architecture is beautiful in Spain. The people are super nice, super friendly. I will say it was a little sketchy walking around at night though. But no one ever tried to pickpocket us or anything. There was a lot of homeless people in Valencia, which was really sad. But it was really nice. There's people out in plazas, painting, like painting pictures of you, doing musical shows, spitting fire. Like, there's crazy parade stuff like all the time. And not even all of it was for events or holidays or anything. It was just great to see the people lively and see action everywhere. Food was amazing. It was healthy. You felt good eating. It was just a beautiful experience, beautiful country that I'll always remember for the rest of my life. And I would love to go back to Spain. I would love to visit other cities such as Alicante and maybe areas more towards the north and close to Portugal, as we were mainly on the East Coast. But I mean, I loved Spain. I will always remember it and cherish it. And now our top 5. Our top 5 are all going to be in the S tier. They're all going to be in the S tier. These are all S tier countries. And we're going to start it off with Puerto Rico, which I know is technically not a country. It is U.S. territory. But nonetheless, Puerto Rico's been amazing. I've been 3 times. I have been to the north, the east, and the west. So now I need to go to the south, I believe. Or I think I've been everywhere but the southwest or something like that. I don't remember, so my friends told me. I have been to the island I've been to the side of the island that's close to all the little islands they have, which I don't remember what they're called. That was the first time I went I believe I went when I was like 12, 13, 14 with my family and a couple other families. We went to Puerto Rico the first time. It was super fun. We went to the rainforest, we rode horses, we went to the beach, a bunch of stuff like that, kind of went to San Juan, toured San Juan, went to a bunch of restaurants and shops, what typical tourists do. The second time I went was 2 summers ago, I went with my best friends Stan and Josh. We went, just the three of us. We stayed in Condado. We went out in Condado. We went bar hopping. Had great food. Went to the beach. I had this like coconut thing with rum in it on the beach. It was super fun. We took great pictures there. Went to San Juan again. Just absolutely beautiful city, or yeah, beautiful city, beautiful country or territory. And the third time I went was actually this past Christmas. Well, I went for New Year's, not Christmas, but the Christmas break. I went with my friend Lewis, one of my other best friends, and a couple, and his brother and his friend, a couple other people we knew, and it was great. But this time I stayed in Moca and Aguadilla, which is on the complete opposite side of the island of San Juan. It's more local, more cultural, and here I got to see parandas and try a bunch of local food. I got to meet, Lewis and, or I met Lewis, but I got to meet his family that was over there. And, I don't speak much Spanish very well, but I got to learn a lot from them. And I really valued that experience. We went bar hopping with his grandpa one day, and he showed me, Rincon and this whole other part of the island. And then, New Year's is huge there. We were just, oh my gosh, we were just partying and drinking for the entire day, and eating all day, house to house to house, which I'm not used to. But I just love the family dynamic. I loved the local culture and the public, parandas and parades and partying they had, which is funny because, again, I don't love partying, but I just, oh my gosh, Puerto Rico is just, it's beautiful. I love it. And it was like, I got like a real cultural experience the third time. Also, to go back to Spain real quick, I also went to Mallorca and Ibiza one weekend. Ibiza's great. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. It's beautiful as well. It was so fun to go out there, which again, I even like going out. I will say it was extremely, extremely expensive. And Mallorca was also just absolutely stunning. Literally one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. We didn't go out in Mallorca. We just, walked around, took pictures, and walked to this main city of wherever we were at. But yeah, so moving on to number 4. Number 4, I'm not gonna lie, these last 4 are really hard to rank because they just hold a place like no other. But number 4, I'm gonna have to put Italy, which I would love to go back, and this would probably move up my ranks if I did go back. But I went when I was about 15 with my family and 2 other families from home, some of our friends, close friends. We stayed for 2 weeks. We went to the Vatican, we went to Pisa, we went to Venice, we went to Florence, and we went to Rome. I mean, this experience is just something I'll always remember. It was amazing. We made our own spaghetti, like tried Italian wine. We got to go, in Venice. We did the canoes or the kayak thingies, the rowboat things. We went to this island, to this glass making factory, which is beautiful. Florence, the food was great. We toured the city. We got to see, I think it's a statue of David, I think. And then, we saw Pisa, the Vatican, and Rome. We went to the Colosseum and toured it, which I thought was super sick, super cool. Obviously, everyone knows the history of the Colosseum and like how people fought gladiators and stuff. But it was super cool to just see the inside of the area and to see how massive the place is, and to see the place where people were actually fighting for sport and to survive, and where they fought, like lions and bears and crazy stuff like that. And oh my gosh, the food in Italy was insane. They had these things in Rome. It was almost like a quesadilla, but Italian. And it wasn't like a quesadilla where you can kind of see the chicken and the cheese, like where it's like 2 tortillas and stuff in the middle. It was like enclosed. And oh my gosh, that shit was so good. But I loved Italy, and I will always remember it, and I would love to go back. These next 3 all have something in particular, though, a specific event that that I hold dear. Italy was just an overall great trip, but these next three are have crazy stuff. Number three is gonna be Switzerland. So Switzerland, Justin and I went while we were abroad, and our other friends went with us because our other friends went to Paris that weekend. And Stan and I had gone like a couple weeks before to Paris, but Switzerland was amazing. We only went for 2.5 days, I believe, maybe 3 days. We weren't there very long, but we did a day tour in Zurich, which was it was cool. It wasn't anything crazy. We just went to a mall and took a bunch of pictures and around the city and stuff. But it was really nice because we just got to leave our suitcases in a restaurant. We just paid them like a few euros, and they had our stuff locked up. But we went to Lauterbrunnen, saw some waterfalls. We had these amazing donuts. Took great pictures in the mountains. We hiked up to the top of the waterfall, and then we stayed in Grindelwald, which was super beautiful. We went to the top of the mountain on this gondola, and we rode scooters down the mountain, and that is the experience that to me sticks with me and will always be in my heart, that I just loved so much. We were on these scooters, and they have no, like, it's not an electric scooter, it's just a scooter, and you don't even like pick up with your foot. There's just brakes at the top, and you just pull it. You stop because of the velocity and the speed that you're going down, and the gravity's just pulling you down the mountain, and you're just twisting and turning. And like if you don't press the brakes and lean at the curves, you will fly off the mountain and die. Like it is, like you have to sign a waiver. Like it's a pretty crazy thing. But it was just beautiful. Like we're just going down this mountain, and you look around you, and just the scenery is just it's just awe-inspiring. It's breathtaking. There's mountains, you see clouds, you see snow caps, you see grasslands, you see waterfalls. Like it was just like out of a movie. It just didn't even seem real. It was so stunning, so breathtaking, and I will always remember that. And we also went to Interlaken, and Interlaken was gorgeous. The water was gorgeous, straight see-through down to the bottom. It was freezing though, especially we went in June, and it was still freezing. But nonetheless, we had a great time, and I love Switzerland. I would love to go back. I would love to stay for a longer time. The only thing though is it is extremely expensive. It is by far the most expensive country I've been to, besides the one that I live in, obviously. But I loved Switzerland. And number two is gonna be Mexico. Mexico is amazing. I would love to go to Cabo and Mexico City. I would love to go see, the temples and the pyramids that the Mayans or the Incans or Aztecs built, or whoever was there. But I have only been to Cancun, and I went 4 summers ago, which is crazy. Right after I graduated high school, we went to Mexico, and I could drink there. It was like the first place where I could drink a lot overseas. It was great. It was a fun experience. Our hotel was amazing. People were so friendly. The food was great. We went on this tour around like a couple hours out, where we went, kayaking in these caves, and there was bats. We went zip lining and rode dune buggies. It was super, super fun, super thrilling. But what sticks out to me, which this is probably like the top experience of my life as far as travel goes, is we got to swim with whale sharks. We were 2 hours out into the open in the Gulf of Mexico, in the middle of buttfuck nowhere in the ocean, and like it was crazy. There was manta rays, there was whale sharks, like, and then you have, our scuba, like we did like free diving with no scuba gear, just goggles. And we're not allowed to get super close to whale sharks and touch them, but they're like, they're like right there. They're like 10 feet away from you, if even. They're pretty damn close, and they're just feeding on plankton and krill. And we have instructors, so we're all linked together, holding hands, like hand in hand, linked together. And our instructors, are like looking down, looking all around, and we're climbing up the ladder to the boat, and we're like, what are you looking down for? And he's like, oh, we're looking for great whites, bull sharks, and we're all like, what the fuck? But anyways, it was super cool. No one was hurt. There's no danger, and like we got to swim with whale sharks, which is just one of the coolest things ever. And without further ado, the number one country, which honestly I should have taken this out of the list or like ranked it first, but I mean, come on, it's the U.S. It's where I live. It's what I call home. It's where I've spent my entire life. Um, are there some things I would change about it? Perhaps. But it's where I call home. It's what I'm used to. It's where my friends are. It's where my family is. And it's also such a diverse country. You can travel to all sorts of different parts. You can go to the Northeast. New York has, it's like the city of the world, like city of dreams. Then you go to Boston or, Philadelphia or somewhere else up on the Northeast or on the coast. And it's older. It's more pilgrim like from the beginning days of our country. There's DC, which is super cool to check out. I personally would not ever want to live there, but our capital is, it's all right. It's cool. It's definitely not as cool as capitals of the rest of the world. But I mean, come on, Texas, you have like huge cities, and then there's Arizona and parts of Texas and New Mexico that are like desert like, or you go dune bugging. You can sand dune, like sandboard, like snowboarding, but sand dunes. And then you have like Yosemite and stuff. You have California, you have the redwoods, you have the Pacific coast, which is completely different from the East Coast. You have the Great Plains, you have mountain regions like Utah and Colorado where you can go skiing and do so much cool stuff. And you also have, like the Carolinas and Florida with beautiful beaches. And honestly, I'm from Florida, and it is low-key its own country. Florida could honestly be split up into like multiple countries itself. You have the Panhandle, which is like redneck country people, almost kind of like more like Alabama and Missouri and Louisiana than it is like Florida, besides the beachy parts, the coast towns. And then you have like North and Central Florida, which is kind of like stretches you from like Tallahassee to Orlando kinda. And it's just like an amalgamation of everything. There's like nothing, and then there's swamps, and then there's Orlando, which is like has Disney World, I believe. Not Disneyland, I don't know. I've been multiple times. I just don't remember which one it is. There's just everything there. Epcot, you can eat around the world. There's Universal Studios, which in my opinion is way better. Like Epic Universe and Islands of Adventure are way better than any of the Disney parks in my opinion, besides maybe like Hollywood Studios. And then there's Miami, which is low-key its own country. Like everything is in Spanish. Everyone speaks Spanish. Some menus aren't even in English, which is crazy because you go to Spain or like a Spanish-speaking country and menus are in English and Spanish. And then in my own state, not even country, I can't even read some things. And then there's the Keys, which are the islands owned by Florida, and that's just like it's just gorgeous. It's beautiful island life in America. And then there's Hawaii, beautiful islands, like Samoan like people, super friendly, super fun. Volcanoes. And there's Alaska, which is like the Iceland of America. It's like freezing, but there's mountains and icebergs and a bunch of cool stuff to look at. It's just, and we're the most culturally diverse, multicultural country in the world, which is pretty cool. Any type of food you want can probably be found or made in America. But it is just where I'm from. It's home. Nothing could ever top it. So it will always be a default S and a default first place. But as I do go to more countries throughout 2026 and the rest of my life, I would maybe leave the US out of my rankings just to kind of rank other countries I've traveled to because I live here. So, but yeah, let me know what you think of my list, guys. Obviously, I haven't been to anywhere that I don't love. and I would love to go to many, many more places, and hopefully one day I get the chance to. So thanks for watching, guys. G Money Reviews.